So one worldview today says that there is no guiding force to the world at all. Right? So there is no God or higher power, and as a result, we are all just plummeting through space at the mercy of the nearest black hole or large meteor. And so in this view, no one is ultimately in control, and we do not know if there is a positive end or not. And if we will internalize this worldview for a moment, we will find that it comes with a whole lot of fear. Why? Because it's like the Earth's on a ghost ride. Did you ever ghost ride your bike as a kid? What do you do when you ghost ride a bike? You send it down the hill with nobody on it, right? And no rider. And does the bike ever come to a stop with a kickstand down in a pleasantly parked position? No. It crashes and burns, and that's part of the fun of doing it. And you usually choose the youngest brother's bike to do it with. Right? So that's part of the fun of it, is to watch this thing crash and burn. Well, this week I was on an advisory committee at the Hewitt for their business department. And we were talking about the business curriculum and just kind of advising that curriculum for future business students. And the teacher there that was leading the discussion said something that I knew, but I'd never heard firsthand. And she said that today's youth no longer dream like we do. She said, when I ask them what they want to do when they grow up, they usually say, I don't know. Or they mention something very short term. And she's not the only one to notice this. Andrew Delbanco, who is a humanities professor at Columbia University, who's also not a Christian, as best I could tell from his writing. Delbanco published a short book in 2015 entitled The Real American Dream, A Meditation on Hope. And in this book, he traced the history of America's hopes. And so here's a quote from that book, from one of the last chapters. He said, "Last year I heard a pediatrician remark that over his 30 years of practice, the children he treats have become less and less responsive to his standard question, what do you want to be when you grow up? In the past, he got lots of answers following the formula, I want to be like blank, with the name of a sports hero or a scientist or even a politician filling in the blank. Now he gets a shrug or an I don't know, or sometimes the name of a TV cartoon character." Then he says this, "Nothing, it seems to me, is more alarming than the impoverishment of our children's capacity to imagine the future." So Delbanco attributes this new reality of young people to the reduction of hope to the self in the modern mind. That's what Delbanco says is the problem, but I think it goes a little deeper than that. So think about this for a moment. Whenever I counsel with someone who wrestles with anxiety, perhaps even to the point of panic attacks, that person has usually tried to manage their anxiety over the years in a couple of different ways. They either keep busy all the time so as not to think, and that's generally a male way of dealing with anxiety, is just keep so busy you don't have to think. Or secondly, they take medication so as not to feel. Or thirdly, they try to control everything and everyone around them because they are afraid of everything spinning out of control. Right? There's fear. And each of these things may seem to help and may help in the immediate, but ultimately they evade the solution. Because the ultimate solution to anxiety is to examine my view of the world that I hold that causes me great anxiety and to develop a new view of the world to replace it. And so young people today have been told that we are on a spinning ball called Earth with no guiding hand. We are all on an Earth that is being ghost-ridden through space. and when we look around or we watch the news, we have to say that assessment seems pretty accurate, right? So what do you do when you're on a bike with no driver? Or maybe you're on a double-seater bike and you're not in the lead, and nobody else is in the lead. What do? Well, you can either hold on as tight as you can and hope for the best, or you can block out the bad end that is just soon to come, and just live in the moment. that you can do one of those two things. And so one of our high school teachers in Laconia says that our young people are living in the moment and no longer dream about the future. And I believe it is because fear grips them when they think of the end of this ghost ride. And so the question is there an alternative worldview available to us today that is actually true and not just wishful thinking, and that can actually make this, what seems like crazy ball spinning, manageable or even joyous for the time? Well, the Bible says there is. The Bible says there is a God who is personally guiding the earth, and that is why we have not dropped into a black hole yet.